Your voice is the most sustainable thing you can use to make a difference. There's no need for technology or anything that hurts for Earth when your voice is more powerful than any cultivator or factory that's out there.
This episode of Grounded in Maine is sponsored by ESG Review. ESG Review magazine is published quarterly in February, May, August, and November, and is available for free in print and digital formats. ESG Review is devoted to environmental, social, and governance strategies, technologies, and investments. ESGreview.net is updated every Wednesday with 8 new stories and is home to feature articles, news items, and more. Visit esgreview.net to stay informed and help us spark the collaboration and awareness needed to develop sustainable economies and communities around the world.
There's a place where there's no trouble, no more pain, no more struggle.
Grounded in Maine podcast is an open conversation about how we show up for the world. I started this podcast out of a desire to learn new ways to be sustainable because the word sustainability is big. It can be overwhelming, and I just wanted to learn, different ways to try to be part of the solution and not feel like it's too late. So I'm talking to people who are doing different things and learning so much. I hope you are too. Hi there. Thank you for listening to Grounded in Maine today. My name is Amy Fagan, and my guest today is Kadin McElwain. And I met Kadin on a Facebook group. I put out an SOS over the weekend saying, I'd had some. Oh boy, I had some technical difficulties over the week and had to reschedule some stuff, and then I had a cancellation, so I didn't have an episode for Tuesday, and I didn't really want to torture everyone by just listening to me 2 weeks in a row. So I put out that message, and Kadin was the first one to respond, and he was like, I have so much passion for sustainability and activism, and he worked on a farm and he plans to go back to work on that farm. He's learning the connection, which I think is so great. And Kadin was super psyched when I told him that this was going to air on Tuesday, April 2nd. He said that's World Autism Day. And I didn't know that. So I'm psyched that it worked out like that. And so anyway, happy World Autism Day to Kadin and everyone else who cares for someone who's autistic or is autistic, and I'm so grateful for Kadin's message and for what I have learned today. So I'm going to get right to this. I hope you guys enjoy it, and definitely check out some links. He's going to go far. I think I'm thrilled to have gotten to meet Kadin. My guest today is Kadin McElwain, and Kadin is a sophomore at Kent State University. He is studying to be he's a PR major. So, Kadin, thank you so much for joining me today, especially last minute. I really appreciate that.
Thanks for having me, Amy. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so glad. And you had said that, you had said that, you practice sustainability mainly, or not mainly, but you wanted to talk about activism in sustainability.
Yes.
So, but you do a lot of activism in that's a passion of yours, and it's so important. So I'm so glad that you're doing that. And so as far as sustainability in that, you said, you were telling me that you don't use stuff. You just use your voice, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. Yeah, there's no need for any of the fancy technology that damages the Earth. There's no need for megaphones that release gases into the air. No need for picket signs that tear down trees. All anyone needs to be an activist is just a voice and a platform.
Right. Yeah. And if you're, and if what you're saying reaches somebody, they're going to remember that. better than, maybe a sign that they're driving by so fast, or, that's just in their way, or that is going to add to landfills.
Yeah, I agree.
So what is it that you do for activism?
I'm mainly specialized in autism awareness activism. That started with a class project I did for my freshman year of college, was in 2022. My group and I set up a GoFundMe for Autism Society of America, but unfortunately I found out that they weren't as passionate about the cause as I was. They only did the project to get the grade and
Mm,
the prize we got for winning first place in the competition. And so I pretty much took that, decided to be the voice of my generation, and from there, the advocacy and that grew to me giving speeches, setting up fundraisers, planning events, going on shows like this to tell my story. Hope. The problem I find with the TikTok generation, as I like to call my generation, is they whine and complain and moan about how X, Y, and Z thing isn't going their way, how this company should do this company should do that, this celebrity did something bad, let's cancel them. My question is, what are they doing to help? But
right.
they like to complain, but instead they indulge in their luxuries and go
Right.
on Instagram and their phones. So if they truly want to help, they would use their voice and choose more sustainable options. And if they don't like what a company is doing, if they don't like it, they would discontinue buying from that company. The end.
Right. Boycott for sure. Yeah. And so that's it. How big is your group? That's a college group?
It was a group for a school project. Yeah, it was 4 people, including me.
Oh, okay. And so the rest of them, they just weren't as passionate as you were, you said.
Yeah, I actually did a majority of the work for that group project myself.
Oh,
Even pulling an all-nighter one night to get that GoFundMe sent out to as many people as possible.
hmm. Right. Well, I mean, you said that you were more passionate about it and more concerned about the cause than what you might win. So that it would make sense that you're more motivated to get that really going. But good for you. And so to keep it up, which is, the project is over, I assume.
Yeah, the group project is over, but my advocacy journey isn't.
Right. You're just getting started. That's so great. And so you are an advocate, or you're an activist for a lot of different causes, you were saying, right?
Right.
Very cool. How much time do you offer to that?
Uh, I try to do a little bit once a week. This week alone, since it's spring break, I dedicated a whole week to advocacy work and appearing on shows like this to tell my story.
Oh my gosh, that's very cool. A whole week. Wow. I mean, it's better than, sitting around and watching Netflix, right?
Yeah, it definitely is.
I mean, you get more accomplished at least. I mean,
Yeah,
people might be more rested, but there's a huge thing to be said for like fulfillment and feeling accomplished and that you're making a difference.
I absolutely agree.
Okay. And so whoops. Okay, here we are. I shrunk my screen for a second. It scared me. Um, but and so you are about to be a junior, but you said that you started out, what did you say your major was before PR?
I was a technology major since I come from a family of IT professionals. My dad is actually the head of the IT department at IBM, but I found it wasn't really something I was passionate about. So that prompted me to switch to PR so I can work in the music industry.
Yeah. Do you have a specific type of music that you want to represent?
Hmm. Uh, I'd be open to any of them. Rap's my favorite, however, like Post Malone, Lil Peep, XXXTentacion, those kinds of artists. But I'd be open to any kind of music.
Okay. Anyone that wants to pay me to represent them.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you love rap. That's cool. I don't know anything about rap. I'm much older
Yeah.
than you. But good for you. Uh, and that's and that's a really lofty thing, and I'm sure that a lot of musicians need representation. That's great. I hope that it's not a super uh hard job to get into, I guess. I guess that's the word that I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's not that hard. I'm actually interning for two people in the PR field right now. Presidential candidate Jasmine Sermon and a pianist and very well known political activist named Stephen Marks.
Two. You've got two gigs already. Wow, that's cool. I thought you were only telling me about one. That's amazing. So I guess there's not a ton of competition, but that's, I don't know. Great. And now are you planning to bring your activism into the PR business or practice sustainability in that at all? How do you think that will work
Absolutely.
out?
I'm very much planning to bring the activism into PR. PR is all about communication, the same way with activism. So they kind of go hand in hand. You're
Right.
advocating for your whoever client you're with, say Smucker's Jam, or Walmart, Burger King, maybe. So well, everything comes hand in hand.
Right. You just got to take advantage of that opportunity. And so tell me, Kadin, why does sustainability mean so much to you as far as in the advocacy? Is it like a financial thing or is it more than that?
Mm, of- yes, it is a financial thing. I'm a broke college student, so you know. Oh,
Yeah, I'm a broke
but
podcaster. I hear you.
yeah, but it's more than just the finances. It's because the world's falling apart. We're damaging the environment every single day. We have wealthy business executives like Jeff Bezos who are building factories that take away animal homes and damage the trees. And we have millionaires who think they need a mansion, a helicopter, and a submarine to go everywhere.
Right.
Where I think there was some guy who was tracking Taylor Swift's CO levels from her private jet, yeah, and they were through the roof.
Oh gosh. Yikes. Um, that's, I mean, that's a really cool place to be though. I mean, on your end to, I think as a younger person in a new generation, from where I am, you could be my kid, man. But I'm glad that there are people that are, in the next generation that are, feeling like they can take that on and feeling passion to continue whatever, whatever work has been going well. Because I think, there's me and there are other people that are working really hard, but then there's, we're going to get old one of these days and someone's going to need to take the reins. Not that we're making that big of a difference because I mean, look at us, but the fact is, we can all be doing something. And that's what this podcast is about. That, you don't have to have tons of money. You don't have to have tons of land. We can all be working toward a more sustainable world. And, whether we are 100% or not, as long as we're all working toward it, it's better than just riding that wave down into hell or whatever, until the earth explodes because it's too hot or, however it's going to end.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Quite frankly, I'm terrified for my generation. My parents always say that this generation, the TikTok generation, is going to be the ones to bring us into World War III. And I agree, quite frankly. And I'm a part of a generation. I, and how I think there's going to be World War III. That's enough. Look at the world. There's two, three different wars going on in this world alone. And I think the army's going to call for a draft. And given how lazy and complaining and whiny my generation is, they're going to have a hard time finding people because they won't want to
Right.
go. And if they try to force them, I think some people of my generation might try to act entitled and say, "No, you can't take me. This is against my rights." Da, 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 da.
Right.
But if that time ever comes, then I'll be ready. I truly will be.
Right. Oh my goodness. Why do your parents think that your generation is going to lead us into World War III? Is it
Hmm.
like denial? Is it a
Hmm.
lack of education or something? Why do they think that?
Hmm. Because of what they read in the news, they're very liberal Democrats, Joe Biden supporters, and they regularly read the news. And of course, they had to deal with me, a teenager, during my teenage years, and they always said, people like your generation are going to be the ones to lead us down the hole. They're terrified for generation. But
Wow.
yeah, but no, they've always been supportive of my work and my journey. They've
Oh, I'm
been in my
sure.
corner for the longest time. For example, when my middle school completely cut off my IEP services without my parents' consent, they went out and reached out to every autism organization in Tennessee, which is where the middle school was located, and the state senator, because they weren't going to tolerate being in the dark about these things.
Mm. Wow. So you got your activism um genes, I guess, ish from your parents. Sounds like you learned that from them.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm a very stubborn guy. I never give up until I get what I want, which is change.
Are you struggling to manage your personal finances on top of everything else? Say hello to Coach Connor. Get tailored support to finally conquer the financial stress. It's time to take control and pave the way for a brighter financial future. Reach out to Coach Connor at Progress Solutions now and start your transformation. See the link in the show notes for how to reach Coach Connor.
How how do you think that we can reach your generation as far as opening their eyes to, what's happening and what we can do and, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, you have a better grasp on your people than I do.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I actually tried straight up saying in the class during the class discussion in my media power culture class, hey, maybe not everything is about race and sexuality, and we should focus on the bigger issues in the world than a video game not being inclusive,
Right.
like Palestine and Ukraine, and they passive aggressively attacked me, like saying, so we should put race and LGBTQ stuff to the side. So, you're supportive of non-inclusive, then? And I was like, oh, I never said that. That, that. I'm just saying, there are bigger fish to fry right now. Look at all the wars. The Baltimore Bridge collapsed just recently.
Right. Just this week.
We should focus on helping people instead of whining and complaining and moaning.
Mm, right.
But to answer your question, Amy, I think
Yeah.
the best way to appeal to my generation, unfortunately, is giving them an incentive, a prize for making a difference, like money or a car or a grade or a college degree, a piece of paper, which is pathetic. They should never do things for prizes and rewards. But unfortunately, that's all my generation responds to.
Oh gosh, that's too bad. I mean, I think that I mean we all respond to money and rewards, but it's just too bad that they're not just able to appreciate what we have and take care of what's what's here. I mean, there must be a lot of people that see that and are just like, what do we do? Because that's kind of how I felt in the beginning of, before starting the podcast. Like, this place is going, this place is going downhill, and we need to do something. But where do we start? And so that's kind of what this podcast is about. Like, I've had a lady on who teaches people and talks about container gardening, because there are so many people that, they live in apartments or condos or wherever, and they don't have like a huge garden. But the fact is, you can grow almost anything in a container, little pots, and you can move them to where it's sunny, or you can move them to where it's rainy, or and you can move them inside if you need to, just to take care of them and have something fresh growing, because it's more than just fresh food. It's like healthy for you, and it's good for your soul to have your hands in the dirt. Like, there are just so many aspects to gardening that are just so great. And you were saying that you were gardening this past year. You were working on a
Yeah,
farm.
I was working on a farm called West Orchards, and they had us doing a lot of different work. They had us picking strawberries, picking corn, picking peaches, picking cherries, weeding the strawberry fields. So I'm planning on going back for this summer, and I'm sure those fields we weeded are gonna be full of strawberries ready for this upcoming season. And during my time there, it opened my eyes up to farm to table things. We don't know what's in our food. Even the simplest vegetables platter in the supermarket probably has some chemicals in it, just so it can be so cheap.
Right. The
And
pesticides.
the
Right.
and the foods that don't own are just way too expensive
Mhm.
in today's economy. A simple thing of carrots costs you $4.99 these days.
Right. It's true. And you can't even speak to the quality of that. It's just what's available, right? Unless you go to a
Right.
farmer's market or go straight to a farm.
Yeah, and fast food restaurants are guilty of this too. They're putting all these additives and flavorings and oils and trans fats in their meals. And don't get me wrong, I love KFC more than anything. It's one of my all-time favorite restaurants, but they're just so unhealthy for you. Yeah, I've actually been trying to eat better because of that. Like, not having too many unhealthy things, eating vegetables every morning, and having a cup of coffee.
Right. Yeah, we got to at least cancel it out if we're eating, you know, unhealthy foods. Sometimes we need to cancel that out with some super healthy things.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And so did you learn about that on the farm? Like, is that something that you said that you had your eyes opened when you were working on the farm?
Yeah, I absolutely did, particularly with energy drinks like Monster, Red Bull, all those. During my time there, I would drink like 5 to 6 a day per shift. And there was one instance where I was falling on the ground because I had too much. It's passed out briefly, of course. And I was like, yeah, I need to lay off these. So I completely stopped those. Every now again these days, I usually have a prime, but not as much as I used to, because in my boss's words on the farm, my levels of caffeine were like that of an alcoholic.
Wow. You were addicted, huh? It's
Yeah, pretty much, because there were all these chemicals that made it taste good and made it so addictive that you always came back for more.
right. Well, and then there's so much, I think, sugar and caffeine in those, and I've never had one, so I don't really know, but um the it's great when you're up high, right? But then that goes away, and then you drop down, and it's a really deep drop, right? You feel a drop
Right.
in your energy, and you feel exhausted, I'm sure. And so you're just like, I just need another one. I just need to keep those going. And I'm sure working on a farm, you get up early, right? You have to be there early
Yeah,
and work while the work is good.
yeah, I had to get up at 6 in the morning to get to the farm by 8.
Yeah. And you work as long as you can because it's the sun is not always out. And you got to take advantage of that light and the good weather.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it. But I really did. And there was some days where it was raining and they couldn't have us on work, and I was like, "Oh, what are they doing? I thought farming was supposed to be a tough job, a masculine job. Why are they having us stay in the rain? They said I was working in the rain." And that annoyed my parents so much that my dad had me work in the rain when it was super rainy one day during the summer to teach me a lesson about why they probably don't want us working in the rain on the farm.
Right. And did you learn that? Did you learn why?
Yeah, I did.
Right. Yeah. I volunteer at a farm on Saturday mornings, and so I totally get that. It's too gross. Like you're gonna ruin the ground if you walk on it and it's all muddy. And it's just cold and wet. And a lot of what you do on a farm is watering. So if it's raining, your job is done.
Yeah, pretty much.
And so what did you have? Was there a specific message? I know you kind of hinted to it a little bit ago, but is there a specific message that you would want people to come away from this conversation with?
Yeah, absolutely. Your voice is the most sustainable thing you can use to make a difference. There's no need for technology or anything that hurts the earth when your voice is more powerful than any cultivator or factory that's out there.
Mm. Oh, I love that. And it's also more powerful. I mean, sustainable and powerful, because that's what it's really all that we need. Because if you are passionate about something, then your heart is going to connect with other people, and they'll feel that, and hopefully they'll take that on or accept it or understand it or something like, something to that. But I appreciate that a lot. But so, Kadin, when I say the word sustainability, what does that mean to you personally?
Doing the proper thing and not damaging the earth.
Okay, that was easy. Okay. Uh, and so if somebody is like super impressed with Kadin McElwain and wants to to follow you or participate in the activism that you're doing or learn more about you, how can they find you or follow you?
Absolutely. You can find me on Facebook, Kadin Ronald. Old is the username. You can find my writing on the sports column, KadinMcElwain, or you can follow me on Instagram at 73 posts here.
At 73?
Yeah, posts here.
Oh, I like that. And what was the second one for your writing? It's a sports thing?
The website is called the sports column.
The sports column. Okay. All right. Great. Well, that's awesome. You've got lots of outlets for, getting your voice out. That's excellent.
Thank you, Amy.
But thank you so much for sharing everything today, Kadin. I really appreciate that. And I will put all of this information in the show notes so people can just click a link and find you.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me, Amy.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I just want to take a second to thank my guest again for speaking with me and sharing such great information. I love having these conversations with folks. I also want to thank Buzzsprout for hosting the podcast, for Jane Bolduck and her music genius, for Becca Coffron and her award-winning artwork. And thank you for listening. I appreciate that so much. Please check out the show notes for any links and extra information. And if you would like to follow my guest and find out more about them, I'm sure they would love the follow. And if you don't mind leaving a rating or review wherever you're listening, and just help to get this podcast in front of new eyes, that would be amazing. I would really love that. And feel free to reach out to me on the socials and let me know what you're thinking. And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, please let me know that. I would love to have a conversation with you about sustainability. All right. Thank you again. I hope you have a great rest of the week.
There'll come a day, my mama told me, when I find love to have and hold me, a heart that's strong and so sincere. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? Oh, tell me, the sickness, will heal the age with sweet forgiveness. Wages of war will disappear. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? I wonder, how do I get there from here? Yeah, 'cause here and now I'm so far down, and mercy's bound to find me. When that state of grace has finally found me, well, there'll be music, ooh, and good friends around me, yeah, yeah. And I'll just smile through happy tears.